It's been a while. And by a while, I mean 2 whole years. Honestly, gonna be completely honest, ended up in a book slump and a reading slump for like months. And I got back into reading and I uh went on book talk, as most people have done. However, I got bored and I was like, you know what? I want to do longer book content as opposed to just book talk. So here I am, and we're going to do my favorite and least favorite books of 2022. When I say least favorite, by the way, I'm meaning literally two books which I didn't like. One of which I just didn't like the writing style or any of the characters or anything about it. The other I just found really annoying, but we'll get into that. We'll get into that. First, let's start off with quite possibly my favorite book that I read this year. So much so that I actually have two copies, and that is Red, White, and Royal Blue. And I actually have the special edition too. This one, fun fact, I'm actually going to completely annotate and give it to my boyfriend as a gift. Because I feel like it's a really cute idea to um, just annotate the entire thing, because it's, like I said, is my favorite book. Yeah, and honestly, the special edition, it's so pretty. Like, um, the actual hardcover itself is here. Let me take out the sleeve. The actual hardcover itself is this like fireworks, and then the end pages are so pretty. Like, that's, oh my god. Uh, um, but yeah, so that is quite possibly my favorite book that I read this year. And I read it all within like 2 days. While I was going to Glasgow for uh the Queen concert that I went to this year. So that was a bit ago. Next is another book that kind of speaks to me quite a bit, and that is Felix Ever After. It's a book about a trans man who is kind of just living his life, and then he discovers that uh, an anonymous student in his school is posting transphobic messages about him. So he kind of wants to discover who it is, but also wants to fall in love. And it's just a cute book. And also look how pretty the edges are. I'm not one who usually cares for sprayed edges, but when it's this pretty, you kind of have to love it. You kind of have to. So the next book is another MLM book, as all three have been so far. That is All That's Left in the World by Eric J. Brown. Um, this is kind of a post-apocalyptic book about two people who accidentally met, two men, boys, teenage boys, who accidentally met when one tried to break into the other's shelter, the other's home, and then it becomes unsafe for them to stay in that place while they're both healing. So they end up going on an adventure to find a safe place. And it's a really cool book. They end up like falling in love, and it's really cute, and I don't know, I love it. Next is not a gay book, but a lesbian book or a sapphic book, and that is She Gets the Girl by Rachel. I'm gonna mess up this last name. Lippincott and Alison Derrick, who, fun fact, are I can't remember if they're married, but they're together, which is really cute. It's basically just it's a sapphic book about this girl who's a crush on this other girl, and the bad girl kind of figure takes her under her wing, and they end up falling in love. And it's really cute, and the I love the writing style. It's overall just a really good book, and I would highly recommend it. Yeah. And finally, this one I actually practically just finished reading. And that is, of course, A Court of Thorns and Roses, by Sarah J. Maas. I feel like this one doesn't need that much introduction. Uh, if it does, then fair enough. But it's basically a fantasy novel about this girl called Feyre um, who hunts to protect her family and make sure her family survives, and she ends up killing a wolf who turns out to be a fairy, and a high fae ends up not kidnapping her, but taking her to their land so she can live. And it turns into this romance, and it's quite cute. It can be gory. I wasn't expecting it to be as gory as it was. I was quite shocked. I'm not gonna lie, because everybody was like, "Oh, it's so cute. It's my favorite book on TikTok," and I was like, "Okay, I'll give it a shot." And it turns out it's a very different book to what I was expecting. And now we're on to my least favourites. And of course, this is nothing against the authors or the writing style or people who like the books. They're just books that I didn't enjoy. First off, and this is the one that I said I didn't mind, but it was probably my second least favourite that I read this year. And that being said, I didn't find it like an annoying book at all. One of the characters I didn't like, but that was just my own personal taste. Um, and that is What If It Says? Specifically by Becky Albertalli and Adam Silvera. I give it a shot because first off, one of my favorite streamers, Rambo, was talking about reading it, and I was like, ooh, okay, I'll give it a shot, because it sounds right up my alley. But also I really like Adam Silvera, so I was like, okay, why not? Like I said, I didn't actually mind it. It was quite probably like my second least favorite book that I read this year, but that's not saying much. I just had a really good luck with what I read this year. Like I didn't sit and think, oh my god, I can't wait for this book to be over, like I did with this next book. But it definitely, like I said, just one of the characters annoyed me, and there were parts where I was like, okay, this doesn't seem realistic, or they're too codependent, or stuff like that. But it wasn't a terrible book by any means. And then finally, my least favorite book of the year. Um, I feel bad saying this, but honestly, I hated this book with my entire gut. Like, I just despised it. And that is A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole. What can I say about this book? First off, I bought it off Amazon. It's huge. Like, why is it this big? But second off, the entire time I was thinking that these characters are just so unlikable. If you aren't aware, basically, it's about this girl whose grandma dies, and she makes a promise to get 1,000 boy kisses in her lifetime, and record them so she can look back and think about all the fond memories she had of these kisses. And then she has cancer, so she has to fill up the jar within a certain amount of time, and her best friend helps her. Her best friend is also the love of her life. But the entire time, first off, the the girl is just so annoying. And I feel bad saying that, but she's just the most annoying person. She is just so frustrating. But then the boy is even worse. He is just sat there being so edgy, and he at first he's okay, but then he moves away, and then he comes back, and he is just so edgy, and he doesn't speak to anybody, and he hates his parents, and blah blah blah. And I'm sort of oh my god, who cares? Boo hoo, you had to move away. You're back now. And he doesn't talk to his little brother, who is really upset about that, and basically, I just really did not like this book, and I feel bad because I don't like saying that about authors. But this writing style just was not for me, and there was just nothing redeemable about this book for me. And I feel bad about saying that because, like I said, I don't like to give books bad reviews because that's someone's livelihood. But when you don't like a book, you don't like a book. And I did not like this book at all. And I think that was the issue when I initially started this channel. Because I hated giving authors bad reviews, so I just gave them all amazing reviews. And granted, looking back, all the books I did review on this channel, I didn't mind. Like, I don't know where half of them are in my room now, so I would have to go searching for them. Like, I'm missing half the Twilight series somehow. Don't know where it's gone, but it's somewhere in my room. So, you know, I just don't know where they've gone, so I can't go back and read them, as much as I would love to. I think I probably lent some of them to my little sister, who doesn't read much, and just kind of shoves all the books in a corner, so I'll have to kind of hunt through her room. But yeah, you know, that's my top and bottom books that I read this year. I am still reading a book. I'm currently reading If This Gets Out by Sophie Gonzalez and Cale Dietrich. Dietrich, even. Which I would show you, however, my camera is currently leaning against it. But it's good so far. And, you know, I have more books to review in the future, and I'm definitely going to read Red, White, and Royal Blue again and give it a proper review, because I love it so much, and I want to share that love with everybody. But yeah, have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully I'll see you all in the next video, and yeah, bye!